The American War of Independence. In 1763, George Grenville became Prime Minister of England. He passed the Stamp Act in 1765 to meet the expenses of British Army in America. This led to riots all over America, and the colonies held up the principle no taxation without representation. And this led to the American War of Independence. The colonies refused to accept taxes imposed by British Parliament in which America had no representation. In 1773, a whole shipload of tea was thrown into the sea in the port of Boston to protest against Lord North's Regulating Act which imposed a tax on tea. This incident is known as Boston Tea Party in history. Lord North's retaliated by passing a number of penal laws against the colonies and cancelled the Charter of Massachusetts. All the colonies in America assembled at Philadelphia in 1774 and drew up the Declaration of Rights. Reconciliation attempts failed and the war broke out in April 1775. The first battle was fought at Lexington, in which the colonies were victorious, but they suffered a reverse at Bunker's Hill. In 1776, they gathered a second time at Philadelphia and issued a Declaration of Independence, forming themselves into a federal republic called United States. In the following year, British General Burgoyne surrendered at Saratoga. This turned the tide in favor of colonial army under George Washington. The French now openly came out to support the colonies. The English general Lord Cornwallis found himself forced to surrender at Yorktown in 1781. This was practically the end of the war. The Peace of Versailles was signed in 1783. The independence of United States was recognized by Britain. She retained only Canada, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland. The French recovered Chandranagar and other possessions in India. The war checked the mercantilism and imperialism of Britain and reduced her prestige abroad. France seemed to have recovered from her damages of 7 Years' War, but it was only an apparent recovery, for she was on the verge of bankruptcy. Louis XVI was forced to summon the States General in 1789, which ultimately led to the French Revolution. King George III's personal rule was discredited, and it led to the increase of power of cabinet and the parliament under William Pitt the Younger.